Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Good morning, UK. It's a gorgeous day today, proper summer feeling day today. Hope you've all had a good week. I haven't been on live for a little bit, been a bit busy with other things, but I decided to come back on live today to cover something that seems obvious, but it clearly isn't, because people are still getting it wrong. So I hope most of you will be able to get benefit from this live today. What we're going to be covering today is going to be a few tricks that you can use to help you achieve top health, as well as improve your waistline. Yeah, if you've got a problem with weight loss. Very, very simple steps anyone can do quickly and very simply. In addition to that, will also save you a lot of money. Yeah, I can see a couple of people. I can see Beppe, I can see Amita. So if I see you coming on, I'll acknowledge you. If I can't see you, apologies. If you're listening, I can't see you. I'm obviously limited to what Facebook shows me at the moment. So let's get on first of all straight away into the subject. Now, the reason I'm doing this live today, which is not specifically related to diabetes or thyroid, which is what I specialize in, is because we have got to a point now where while the powers that be are starting to acknowledge that the current recommendation given in the UK and in most of the world are wrong, and they've been wrong for the last 20 years and have caused a massive epidemic of obesity and diabetes, there is too much pressure from certain big companies and industries to keep the guidelines as they are, because of course there's lots of money involved in the background. So as individuals, we are in charge of our own health. Yeah, we make our own choices regardless of what the doctors recommend, what the guidelines are. You and I can choose what we're going to do, and that choice can never be taken away from us. And this is where we have to take responsibility to make the right choice. But you can't make the right choice unless you have the right information. Yeah, so here it goes. Right, first of all, to put things in perspective, currently in the UK, certain other countries are worse than us, by the way, but in the UK, 60% of people are either overweight or obese. Yeah, 60%, that's more than half of the population. If things keep on going the way they are now, i.e. we keep on eating and behaving the way we are now, by 2050, 90% of the population will be either overweight or obese. Yeah, when we talk about overweight, we're not talking about 2 or 3 kilos overweight. We are talking about seriously overweight. Yeah, so this is where we stand now. By 2050, 90% of the population in the UK will be overweight or obese. Yeah, what's the problem with that? Well, it's not about being aesthetics, it's about health. Obesity brings along metabolic syndrome, it brings along a number of chronic disease, brings on type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, brings on cancer. Yeah, people don't realize that cancer is linked to obesity. It's not just about being fat and not looking good in the mirror. It's very serious. But what's worse, and this is unbelievable, childhood diabetes, type 2 diabetes in children is on the rise. Obesity in children is on the rise. Now, this is the fault of parents. Yeah, you can't blame the children for being obese. That's what the parents feed them. Yeah, but part of the problem is that parents think they're giving the children good food because they go by what they've been told. Yeah, so this is why I'm doing this live today. I want to try to get to clarify what is good food, what is not good food, and other techniques that you can use to help you rebalance your health and rebalance your waistline. Yeah, which won't cost you anything. Yeah, so hi Dave, hope you're having a good day. Right, so let's get started. First of all, what's processed food? The definition of processed food, yeah, is everything that's been altered by men. My definition of processed food, to make it easier for anybody to understand, is this: if it didn't walk, it didn't swim, didn't fly, or didn't grow from a tree, or didn't grow from the ground, it is processed. It is that simple. Yeah, so anything that you don't see in nature, yeah, that doesn't come like that in nature, is being modified in any possible way that is processed. Yeah, so let's go through some examples. Let's look at the typical breakfast, what people might have for breakfast. So people may have for breakfast cereals. Yeah, well, see, any cereals, it doesn't matter if it says healthy on the packaging, doesn't matter if it's Weetabix. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Any cereals in any shape or form is processed food. And most of them actually got sugars in, not only processed wheat is bad for you anyway. Wheat is one of the things causes major problems, in particular leaky gut, which is permeability of the gut lining. Means the gut lining opens up, breaks the links in your gut lining, allowing food to go through your bloodstream, causing, among other things, autoimmune disorders. Yeah, so this is very important. Cereals, no, it's processed. Granola, oh, that's another one my client said, but granola is healthy. But says who? Who says granola is healthy? The manufacturers say granola is healthy, of course, because they want to sell more. Yeah, granola is full of sugar. Just read the ingredient. If you got a long list of ingredients, most of which you can't pronounce, that's processed. Yeah. So cereals, granola, bread. I mean, everybody knows that bread is processed. It doesn't matter if it's whole grain. This is one of the problems with today's guidelines in the UK. Diabetic guidelines say you are allowed to have whole grain pasta, whole grain bread. Listen, the human body only understands three things: carbohydrate, fat, protein. Yeah, whether you eat whole grain rice, whether you eat white rice, whether you eat a piece of fruit, for the body that's carbohydrate. The response it has is exactly the same. So understand that the body doesn't understand. This is a piece of cereal. This is cereal. This is a piece of bread. This is a vegetable. It's carbohydrate, but there's good carbohydrates and there's bad carbohydrate. Like cereals is processed. It's a bad carbohydrate. Vegetables. Where does vegetable come from? Comes from the ground. Yeah, as I said, if it doesn't swim, walk, fly, grow from a tree, and grow from the ground is processed. Where vegetables grow from the ground, so they're not processed, is real food. Yeah. So fried breakfast again. So now there's a few things in fried breakfast people think is very bad for you. Well, there's a caveat there. First of all, eggs are good for you. Part of fried breakfast is eggs. There's a few vegetables, could be tomatoes or mushroom. They're okay. They grow from the ground, so it's no problem. Yeah. Bacon, okay, be very careful with bacon, because bacon, while in itself is not that bad, it is processed, especially if it's smoked bacon and it's got nitrates in there, which are very damaging. But you can get from farms bacon that is nitrate free, and that is okay. Yeah, so that is option. If you got sausages, forget it. Sausages are processed. Just get a nice piece of meat. Yeah, get a steak, get some mincemeat yourself. You make your own sausages if you want. Yeah, don't buy processed sausages. You can buy some sausages from farms or very good butchers that don't contain anything else. Yeah, but it's very rare. Most of the time they'll have some bread or starch or all the crap in there. Yeah, so that's processed. Yeah. What else do you have? A bread, forget it. Part of a fried breakfast. That's not good. Black pudding. Again, process. That doesn't come in nature. Just think about, is it coming like that in nature? If it doesn't, it's not. So fried breakfast, some of the ingredients of fried breakfast are okay. Yeah. Some of them are not. And also, well, the fried bit is the issue. Yeah. Now, if you're frying with coconut oil, it's not a problem. If you are frying with what will you get if you go in cafes and restaurants, you get fried breakfast, they don't use coconut oil, it's too expensive. They're going to use refined vegetable oils, yeah, which are the canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, rapeseed oil. Those are highly inflammatory to your body. So you just deny, if you have eggs that are fried in that, you just destroy your benefit of the eggs, yeah. So that's what, if you do a breakfast at home, you fry yourself, you choose the right ingredients, nothing that's processed, no problem. If you get it outside, just stay away from it. Yeah. Orange juice is part of most people's breakfast. No, orange juice is not orange juice. It's concentrate crap full of sugars. Now, if you want orange juice, you make it yourself. But guess what? To make a glass of orange juice, you're probably going to need 4, 5, 6 oranges. No, you don't do that. You've got to always remember is, in a normal day, if you have a piece of fruit, you'll have 1 orange. You wouldn't have 4 oranges at once. Yeah, that's not healthy. It's too much sugar. You know, you have to use common sense with this kind of thing. Yeah, and we're going to cover juice in a second later on. So coffees, whether you go to Starbucks, Costa, Nero, wherever you go. Now, if you have a black coffee, fine. I mean, there's other issues with coffee that stress your adrenals, but generally speaking, it's fine. Espressos are fine. Now, when you start adding all different type of milks and all different type of flavorings, that is super bad for you. That's processed. Yeah, so be careful with your coffees. Choose the right things. Do it at home. If you want to use almond milk, coconut milk, fine. If you want to use normal milk, it's fine again. But again, you know, control the amount you use and don't start adding, you know, like you do in Costa's frappuccinos and all the crap, because that's pure sugar in a bottle. Yeah, that's all it is. Jams, peanut butter, sauces, all the kind of thing. You gotta be careful. You know, people have fried breakfast and they will have ketchup. Oh, that's processed. That's not tomato. That is processed crap, sugar. Yeah, so does it come in nature? No, the tomato does, but it doesn't come out as a bottle of ketchup, does it? So that's what you gotta think. Yeah, peanut butter. Well, there's a lot of things in the world of bodybuilding. Bodybuilders use peanut butter very often on rice cakes. Yeah, because it's protein. No. Peanut butter. It's got insy type of, literally is nothing. Very little protein. It's all fat. Yeah, it's actually the bad fat, because peanuts are legumes. They're not nuts. So out of all the nuts, peanuts and cashews are the worst one nutritionally and actually for damage they're going to cause. Yeah, so if you want to have a nut butter, you can try almond butter, but think about it. Does the nut butter grow from the ground itself? No, it doesn't. I mean, the nuts come from fruits and, you know, from trees are fine. The nuts in its normal state. Nut butters, it doesn't matter how healthy they say they are, is processed. That's not part of anyone's diet. That comes as processed food. Yeah, so, and jams, of course, jams is, forget it. So all the normal things we get for breakfast, what average person gets for breakfast is you know, the cereals, granola, bread, croissant, fried breakfast, orange juice, the weird and wonderful coffees, peanut butter stuff. All the stuff is processed. Yeah, so that's the first meal of the day. 99.9% of people will have processed food, and most often they don't realize it because they think it's actually good for them, because the advertising, especially on cereal, say it's healthy. No, it's not healthy. It's processed. Yeah. Let's go look at lunch. What kind of stuff people have for lunch? Well, in the UK, very common, if you work in an office and, you know, you can't be bothered to bring your own food, you will have sandwich with crisp and a soft drink very often, or juice, and normally some sort of sweet stuff like chocolate or something like that, a little cake, whatever. Now, all of that is processed. Every single thing I just mentioned is processed. There is nothing natural in it. Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you have the sandwich, you choose something relatively healthy like chicken salad sandwich, because the chicken bits that you will have are tiny, and actually the chicken they use is not that they cook the chicken breast and the cut you put in the sandwich. They use chicken slices that are pre-processed. Go in any supermarket and look at the chicken that is available to eat, you know, it's ready to eat, which has been cut in slices or it's been in chunks. Yeah, now read the ingredients. 99.9% of the chicken will have some form of starch, gluten or sugar in it. Yeah, so it's not just chicken breast has been cooked and cut for you. It's not. Yeah, I've only found, I went through 4 main supermarkets. I only found one supermarket that had actually chicken in a little pot ready to eat, that was chicken pieces, and it was nothing but chicken and salt. One. And I went through tons and tons of products. Yeah, so read those ingredients before you buy anything, and generally speaking, you can just cook your chicken, take it to you with the wok. It's so much better anyway. Yeah, other type of healthy lunches, people think they're healthy. Some people go to Pret, or you know, after lunchtime from work, they go to some of these places you can go and eat stuff, and they buy these salads, healthy salads. Yeah. Problem is that some of the salads I have, I mean, there's some good stuff out there. So in some places they do avocado and salmon or stuff like that. You got to be careful, because very often some of these salads either have got some sort of condiments on them, yeah, or they have a separate sachet where you can put that into the salad. Now, a lot of these sauces that go with the salad to make them taste nice, because let's be honest, you buy a salad, a little bit of lettuce, and you may have an egg and a little bit of salmon, might not taste of anything. So people use the sauce that's provided with that to give it taste. That sauce totally undermines the benefit of a salad, because while the salad will have all natural ingredients most of the time, unless you got croutons. If you got croutons, that's processed, get rid of that, yeah. The moment you put that sauce in there, that's the processed part of that. That's the one that's going to get you the cravings, get your sugars all over the place, yeah, and it's going to screw you up completely. So if you want to have a salad, bring one from home with you, yeah, and you can then choose everything you can put on there. Or if you get one of those salads, have the salads without the sauce they have on the side. Maybe bring you with yourself a little tiny bottle of extra virgin olive oil and just put a little bit on that, yeah. So at least you do it yourself, keep it in the office with you, yeah. Other things are so-called healthy ready meals. Now let me explain something. It doesn't matter whether it's a Weight Watcher meal, a Slimming World meal, whether it's Linda McCartney's meal, and it says healthy. If it comes in a box, it's been pre-cooked and is either chilled or frozen, I'm telling you that is processed. It doesn't matter if it's got natural ingredients in there. Look at the information on the backside, the ingredients. That will tell you everything. The list will be that long, yeah, and it will include different type of sugars in all different names, in gluten, starches, everything that is not supposed to be in there, yeah. So anything that's ready meals, doesn't matter if it says healthy, is processed. Bring your own food to work, yeah. That's as simple as that. You're going to save a ton of money, yeah. And then most offices have a microwave, yeah. Make your own food at home, chill it, make it the day before, the night before, chill it overnight, take it with you at work, heat it up in the microwave, done. You save a ton of money, and at least you know what you're eating, yeah. What else have we got? And it's, of course, the ready meals also include, apart from including these odd sauces and everything like that, sometimes they include problems, hidden ingredients on what looks healthy. Like typical example is salmon, smoked salmon. Now that's another thing. I've looked high and low everywhere. You buy smoked salmon, even the big chunky piece of salmon, and if it's been smoked very often, it's got sugar in it. Demerara sugar in particular, it's got sugar. So when you buy a salad and it's got nice few leaves of spinach, raw spinach and salad, and it's got a bit of eggs, hard-boiled eggs, it's got salmon, people say, oh, this is very good for you. That salmon, I can guarantee you, is not the good quality salmon. It's a cheap salmon that's got lots of sugar. Two reasons why. Number one, is cheaper to produce, because the manufacturer not going to spend lots of money to give you the best quality stuff, otherwise they're going to have to charge you for that. Number two, the more sugar in the salmon, the more craving it gives you, the more you're going to buy the product. That's simple, yeah. It's pure marketing, that's all it is. So just be careful of that. Then let's talk about dinner. So we go through breakfast and lunch, showing how much very often we end up eating lots of processed food without even realizing, even because we think it's healthy, yeah. And then dinner. I mean, most people come home and dinner, unless you're lucky enough to have your partner who's at home before you and cooks for you. Then again, depending on what they're cooking, because they might be cooking rubbish, but then you're lucky you can have some nice, good homemade meal. That's fine. The majority of people go home and they're tired, so they can't be bothered to cook. Yeah, so what happens is it's either going to be takeaways or ready meals, again, that they might have picked up on the way from work, Marks and Spencer's ready meal, whatever might be the case. Or they have frozen stuff. They bring out things like in the freezer they might have breaded chicken or breaded fish, for the kids. Fish finger, chicken nuggets, that's easy thing to give them, because you're tired, you're stressed out. Even those potato stuff, you got the potato smileys, potato shapes and all that to keep them entertained. That is all processed. If you have a piece of meat or chicken that is breaded, that's processed. You just undone most of the benefit of that food, yeah? Does the chicken come out in breaded form? Does the chicken have bread around it when it's walking around? No, it doesn't. Neither does cow, That now there's the fish. The fish doesn't swim around in the rivers covered in bread. No, it doesn't. That's been processed. And inside the bread crusting, not only you got bread, okay, pure bread which is processed, but what's even worse, you got the worst combination you possibly have for your health and your waistline, which is refined carbohydrates and refined vegetable oil, because that breading has been fried, pre-fried, even if it's frozen, it's been pre-fried using the worst possible oil, yeah, like sunflower oil, rapeseed oil. These are all highly inflammatory oils, yeah, which contribute to obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Yeah, so if you want to have a piece of chicken, a piece of meat, you have it with no breading. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's frozen. You know, that's fine. I buy big chunks of big bulks of meat because I eat carnivore diet. I freeze them. Yeah, so, and then I take them out the night before to eat them the following day. There's no problem, no issue with freezing anything. But you have to buy the meat or the fish as is, not breaded or smoked or anything like that, because that the process of smoking or breading it is a process, yeah, and it will include ingredients that are actually very damaging for your health and for your waistline. Yeah, and as I said before, the problem with children obesity, type 2 diabetes is on the increase, and this is because as parents we're making the wrong choices very often, you know, because we think the right choices are the healthy choices, but they're not. Yeah, because it's processed. You know, remember, if it didn't grow from the ground, from a tree, didn't walk, swim, or fly, it is processed. Yeah, okay. Other things that sometimes people have for breakfast, for dinner, as I mentioned, could be takeaways. We all know it doesn't matter whichever way you slice it. Takeaways are processed food. There is not one takeaway that will contain unprocessed food. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you buy Chinese food and you just have meat and vegetable. You just order meat and vegetable. Yeah, doesn't matter. Meat is cooked in soy sauce. Soy sauce not only contains gluten, which is damaging for everyone, not just people with celiac disease, but also contains phytoestrogen. Increase your estrogen level in your body, which for women causes mayhem with your periods, but for men, it lowers your testosterone, increase your estrogen, it gives you feminine, you know, features like boobs. Yeah, so it's not good for you either. Yeah, so those are the things you gotta worry. Is not always meat, so it's healthy, and it's got vegetables health. They're cooked in the wrong thing. Soy is one of the most inflammatory type of thing for the body, for men and women as well. Yeah, so there's no such thing as a healthy Chinese. There's no such thing as a healthy pizza. It doesn't matter if it's low calorie. Doesn't matter if it's gluten free. It's processed. Yeah, okay. Other things that kids like to have, beans and toast. I mean, hello, that's the ultimate insult to health and waistline. Toast, we already covered how bread is bad for you anyway. Beans, I mean, baked beans, people think, oh, it's a good in fiber. No, this is marketing. Baked beans, the beans do not come out of the ground, out of the pod of a plant, covered in tomato sauce and sugar and into a can. That's super processed. Actually, baked beans have got so much sugar in them, it's absolutely ridiculous. You might as well give your child a tablespoon of raw sugar. It's the same thing. Yeah. So baked beans on toast, no. It doesn't matter how restricted you have with time. You gotta make, at some point you gotta choose. And I'm gonna make time to cook for the child and give him something that's decent, or I'm just gonna give him what they want and what is easier for me, because that will determine if a child is gonna become obese, develop type 2 diabetes, and only live until 50 as opposed to living until 80. You decide that from the moment they're young, yeah, as a parent, okay? Snacks. People, first of all, snacking is unnecessary. We've gone to this habit of eating every 2 or 3 hours because the food is there, or because we're fancy, because we're bored, because we're tired, because we're happy, because we're sad. No. If you have 3 meals a day, you have no need for snacking. The only time you need snacking is when you have 3 meals, like I just described, where 90% of your meal is processed, because the whole idea of processed food is full of bad fat to make it tasty, is full of sugars to make it addictive, and to make sure you get hungry again in 2 hours time, so you want more food. Yeah. So the more you eat processed foods, the longer you're going to be addicted to that, the better the chance you're going to become obese, the better the chance you're going to have a heart attack and type 2 diabetes. Yeah. So just stay away from it. Yeah. Is that if you make one change in your life, from now on, from today, start thinking, whenever you go in the supermarket, the first thing you want to do, forget what it says in the front, go to the back straight away. Read the ingredient list. Yeah, if it's a long ingredient list and there's a lot of stuff you can't pronounce, you put that straight back on the shelf. First thing. Next thing, if you're not sure, your ingredient list looks quite okay, ask yourself, did this product come from something that was in nature? Did the product come from something that was walking, swimming or flying, or from a tree or from the ground? If it doesn't come in that form in nature, then it's processed. Yeah, okay, so just understand that. Yeah, snacks. So as I say, snacks, people don't need to snack. We don't need to, because we don't spend the mass. If you're sitting down in the office all day, yeah, you are burning nothing, very little energy. Yeah, so what do you need to have 3 meals and 2 snacks in between? What do you think is going to happen to all the calories, especially most of it's processed? It's going to go straight into your fat storage. Yeah, but not before it's caused major inflammation in your body and screwed up your health as well. So waistline and health get screwed up at the same time. You don't need to snack. Okay, so get it out of your head. There's no need for snacking. The typical snacks people have these days, I mean, a typical snack in the UK, you have a cup of tea with a biscuit, because God forbid should you have tea without biscuit. Tea's not bad enough in the UK. They put milk in it. I mean, when I first came to this country, Italians don't put milk in their tea. They have herbal tea or black tea as is. Yeah, I came to this country for milk. So what is wrong with these people? So that makes it bad anyway. Add the biscuit, because God forbid add insult to injury. Put a bit more calorie, put some more sugar in there, so just to get us through the next meal, because the next meal is only two hours away, or less. But hey, we can't stay 2 hours without food, because we're gonna collapse. Yeah, so super processed food, tea and biscuit. My advice to you is, if you have tea, try to go for herbal teas. 2 reasons. One, you don't have to put milk in it, because milk is not ideal. I mean, milk is all aimed at getting a little calf into a huge big cow. Unless you want to become a huge big cow yourself, then you got no need for milk. Yeah, number one. And number 2 is a lot healthier to have herbal teas. Yeah, black tea tends to have caffeine in there, so it's not ideal. Yeah, because too much caffeine over the day will affect your adrenal glands, the stress level. We already stressed that as enough. But if you want to have black tea, is fine, but try to avoid the milk side if you can. Yeah, and basically absolutely big no-no. Other snacks people have crisps. Okay, super. So the worst combination, remember, carbohydrate and fat together. That's the best way to put on weight. So biscuits, cakes, crisp, that's the 2 combinations together. You want to put on weight? Have crisp. You want to put on weight? Have some biscuits. That's the best way to do it. If you don't want to put on weight, just leave it. Yeah, so it's as simple as that. Chocolate, okay, chocolate is the most addictive, one of the most addictive thing, because it's full of sugar. Now there is a little caveat here. I recommend my clients use dark chocolate when it's that time of the month, because women tend to have hormonal changes, tend to bring on a lot of sugar cravings. Yeah, so what I tell women is, if you're really struggling, go for 85% plus chocolate, because it's bitter, number one, is higher in fat and lower in sugar. Yeah, because it's got very little milk in there. Yeah, so it's less addictive, but most importantly is damage control. You cannot physically have a whole bar of dark chocolate. You just can't, especially 85% or more, because it's bitter as well. And when you finish eating it, it leaves a weird taste in your mouth, so it doesn't fit the craving. If you have white chocolate or milk chocolate, you eat 1 bar, then you can have another one and another one, because it feeds the craving is so high in sugars and you want more and more and more. Yeah, so but chocolate is processed, so ideally should not be part of your diet. But if you're really desperate for that, have it. Yeah, cakes, nuts, cakes are processed. Now nuts are not processed, however there's a caveat here. I already mentioned before, cashews and peanuts are a no-go. They are legumes. They are not nuts. They are legumes, very poor nutritional value and actually lots of damage. So get them out of the picture straight away. Other nuts, you got macadamia, almonds, you know, whole nuts, Brazil nuts. Those are fine, but understand one thing. Nuts are very high in omega-6. Now, omega-6 is one of the essential fatty acids which we need to take from our diet because the body can't produce it. Omega-3, 6, and 9. Now, you have to have a very good balance between omega-3 and omega-6. Otherwise, you get inflammation in the body, which then brings on disease and illness. Yeah. So the standard diet, you know, because it's covered, we tend to eat a lot of processed food, whether or not we're aware of it. Our standard diet tends to be very high in omega-6s. That's why there's a lot of problem in digestive issues, chronic disease, diabetes, you got autoimmune disorders and all that kind of stuff. The ideal balance between omega-3 and omega-6 is 3 to 1. So 3 omega-6 to 1 omega-3. Yeah. Most people will have a balance of anything from 15 to 50 to 1. Yeah. The higher the balance, the worse the balance, the more level of inflammation, the worse your health. Now, nuts contain not a good balance, omega-3 to 6, high in omega-6 and low in omega-3s. Yeah. So that's why you have to be very careful. A handful of nuts a day is fine. When I say a handful, is a handful. You know, it's not a handful like that. It's one handful. So we're talking 8 to 12 nuts a day. Yeah. That's fine, no problem. Again, because they're quite natural, yeah? But above that, you got two issues: the inflammation side, which is a problem for your health, and then the fact that high calories, which is a problem with your weight and the waistline, yeah? So you have to be careful. And I also recommend have a mix of nuts. So don't just concentrate on one nut. The best thing is to buy the nuts in big packs, mixed nut. You want to buy them raw nuts, so that means they haven't been roasted or salted or sugared or anything like that. So raw nuts, have a handful of that, nice big mix of everything. Have that, you get various nutrients in there. Yeah, and that is a good snack if you need that. You don't need a snack, but if you're desperate, have some nuts. Yeah. So sugary drink, I mean, energy drinks are pure evil. You got two things that are very bad for you: sugars and caffeine. Yeah, combine them together, you stress your adrenal system, you spike your insulin level, and you're going to want more and more. So you get this spike of your blood sugars followed by the big slump. And guess what happens when you got the big slump? You're hungry and you want more. That's the whole idea of a sugary drink and energy drink. The energy drink, you don't need energy. You want energy? Go out for a walk. That will give you energy. And it's going to cost you nothing. Yeah, that's how you get your energy back. Moving, that's what gives you energy back. Yeah. So again, hot drinks with sugar. It doesn't matter if you share sugar-free. If it is sweet, it's got sugar in the shape of sweeteners. So think, is it sweet? Yes. If the answer is yes, it's got sugar in it. Doesn't matter if it's sweetener. Yeah. There is one sweetener, stevia, which is okay, is approved in the low carb areas because it doesn't spike insulin. However, it still gets you to have that need for sweetness, that craving. Yeah, and that if you have a lot of drinks, especially if you have a lot of various drinks, whether coffee, tea, whatever, and you put a sweetener in each single one, even if it's stevia, your brain will still keep on wanting sugar, sugar, sugar. You never get over the sugar craving, even if it's healthier for you compared to other sweetener or sugar. Yeah, so just think about it, because you're feeding that craving, you can never get out of it eventually. Yeah. And other snacks people have, cheese. I mean, cheese is the ultimate processed food. I mean, just think that whenever did you see a chunk of cheddar cheese coming out of a cow? Doesn't. Milk comes out of a cow. Yeah. So it's that kind of thing. And cheddar cheese got, apart from having, fats in there, is also got, casein, and some of the dairy proteins are very addictive, just as addictive as sugar. So just be careful. Yeah, try to avoid it. Can have some cheese, that's fine, a little bit of cheese, but try not to make a habit of having that as a snack or having chew regularly. Yeah. So as you can see, breakfast, lunch, dinner, yeah, and snacks. Most of what we eat today is processed. Yeah, the best advice I can give you is this: if you want to have meat, buy any type of meat that is not from the fresh counter. Yeah, so, or from the fridges, so that hasn't been covered in any type of coating, has been smoked, there's nothing else has been done to them. Yeah, same goes for fish. Yeah, fresh fish. We can buy some frozen fish to do some frozen fish, provided it's been covered in anything. It's just fish and of, yeah. And then the other things you can have, lots of vegetables, plenty of vegetables. You can have some starches like potato. Try to go for sweet potatoes as opposed to white potatoes. Because white potatoes are high glycemic, and then they're going to make you hungrier, yeah, and it's not good for your blood sugar management. Fruit in moderation, guys, and try to go for low glycemic fruit. Berries are quite good. Apples, pears, plums. Try to avoid the big juicy and super sugary fruits like grapes, yeah, which are going to spike your blood sugars all over the place and cause more problems, yeah. I wanted to cover juicing as well, guys. Juicing is an issue because whether you juice vegetable, whether you juice fruit, the problem is this. A fruit or a vegetable is meant to be eaten in the shape, in the form it is. Why? Because it will contain, that goes for vegetable or fruit alike, they contain fiber and some sugars. Yeah, so they're supposed to be eaten together. Because if it's juice, all you're going to get all the sugars out from the vegetable, from the fruit, leaving the fiber behind. Yeah, so whenever you separate something like that, you're having the sugars, you're taking away the best part, and first of all, they won't fill you up, and it's too much sugar at once, especially if you're juicing fruit, because as I mentioned before, you will end up juicing 5 or 6 different types of fruit just to get a glass of juice, and it will be equivalent to you having eaten 5 or 6 pieces of fruit. Too much sugar. Yeah, okay, so just be aware of that. What I wanted to do, I wanted to cover fasting as well, yeah. So one of the ways, apart from getting away from processed food and having just real foods, yeah, as they come in nature, what I wanted you to think about is this issue that we have with eating 3 meals a day plus snacks, stuff like that. We eat because it's breakfast time, we eat because it's lunchtime, we eat because, as I say, we are hungry, we're bored, whatever might be the reason. We don't eat because we're truly hungry, we eat because it's there, yeah. So think about it, the human body is built for two ways. So first of all, it needs to move. Secondly, it needs to rest. When we're talking about resting, it's not just resting your muscle, your digestive system needs a rest as well. And these days, most people will start eating from the moment they get up for breakfast, yeah, and they eat all the way until they go to bed. Yeah, so they end up eating, 18, 16, 18 hours a day. That is super bad for you. Even if you skip breakfast, most people skip breakfast will end up eating even later at night. Yeah, you're still eating those 18 hours a day. The human body is not built for that. The human body needs a rest, especially the digestive system needs a rest. It doesn't get a chance otherwise to regenerate and get yourself back on scratch. Yeah, that's why you end up having problems. In an ideal scenario, you should eat bare minimum. You should fast for 12 hours. 12 hours feed, 12-hour fast. Yeah, and it's very simple. Let's just say you get up at 7. You have your breakfast at 7. By 7 o'clock in the evening, you finish eating. You can still have 3 meals in that period of time. That is not difficult, but you got to stop eating. Give you a chance from 7 till 7, to go back to recover. Yeah, which is ideally done at night as well. Yeah. There are different methods for doing fast. You can do time restricted feeding, as I mentioned. 12 is the bare minimum. Yeah, but you can do a very good one for both insulin control, insulin sensitivity, so reduce your insulin resistance, which is an issue with type 2 diabetics, but also most people who are obese as well, or overweight generally, is to do 16-8. So you eat over a period of 8 hours and you fast for 16 hours. Yeah, so most people we do lunch and dinner, so we might do eat from 12 to 8. Yeah, and then fast for the rest of the period. If you want to have breakfast, you can do the same. Have breakfast in the morning and have a late lunch, and then fast for the rest of the time. That's one of the best methods. It will help you rebalance your health, lower your insulin resistance, so you lower your risk of diabetes and other major problems, and also help your waistline. Yeah, so you still can have 2 or 3 meals in that period of time, but you're restricting the time you're eating. Yeah, so the more you fast, the more your body's gonna have to use your body fat for survival. Yeah, because when you're fasting, your body still needs energy. Still needs energy, needs the calories for respiration, digestion, circulation, and everything else. Yeah, so those are taken when there's no food coming in. Then the body has to take them from your body fat. Yeah, and once it takes from your body fat, guess what? Your body fat goes down. You're losing weight. You're losing fat, more importantly, than weight, because it's two different things. Yeah, okay. Other people can do like I eat once a day. Yeah, but that's because I'm on a diet, carnivore diet, which allows me to do that because there's no carbohydrate at all. So it fills you up, keeps you fuller for longer, and you automatically gravitate towards 1 or 2 meals only a day. There's no problem if the main thing is that you listen to your hunger. Really ask yourself, am I hungry, or am I just eating because I'm bored, because it's there, because I associate coffee with a muffin? Yeah, just think about that. Yeah. I wanted to give you an example of how powerful this fasting is. They did a test with rats. Yeah, they must have done they used rats before they used humans, obviously, to see how things work, because it's very similar to us. Now, rats are nocturnal animals. Yeah, what it basically means is that they're awake at night and they sleep during the day. So the opposite of what we do. So they did this test on rats to test this time-restricted feeding and see what will happen if that has any impact on body composition as well as health, And so a group of rats, they get two groups of rats. Both groups of rats were given exactly the same diet. Same amount of calories, same amount of food, no difference whatsoever. Now, one group of rats were given the food and were allowed to eat it whenever they wanted to, yeah? Another group of rats were given the food only at nighttime, in a restricted window at nighttime, because that's their active time, remember? So what's happened is the group of rats that were allowed to eat, we put the food there, were allowed to eat throughout the day, night and day, yeah? But same amount, remember, same amount of food, exactly the same type of food, yeah? So they weren't fed more, they were fed exactly the same amount. Those rats became obese. Why? Right, very simple. First of all, they've got no control. Yeah, so you put the food in front of them and eat. Yeah, like many animals, they do that. Yeah, and humans clearly, because we do that now. There is something that goes alongside your eating, which is your circadian rhythm. So circadian rhythm is how your body works alongside the day and night. Yeah, how your body works better with day and night. So as I mentioned with human, our circadian rhythm is daylight, we're active, nighttime, we recover. Yeah, sleep and recovery. With rats is daytime, sleep and recovery, nighttime, active. So the reason why those rats got fat and sick, by the way, is because while they were eating the same amount of food and calories and everything as the other control group of rats were only eating at night, they were eating at the time when they're not supposed to be eating, yeah, and they were eating continuously. So there was no break at all in the eating, yeah. So they ate when the biological clock said you should be resting. They were eating during the period of time as well, and they were eating, as I say, constantly. So there was no fasting period for them. The other rats were eating during a restricted window period. I think they used 10 hours. Yes, we're eating for 10 hours and fasting for 14 hours. So the specific one that they used. Yeah. So 10 hours at night they were allowed to eat, and the food was taken away, and that was it. Those rats remained slim and healthy because not only they were eating during the right clock, circadian clock for their species, but also they had the 14-hour fasting. The body had to use their own body fat to keep the balance, for energy expenditure. Yeah, so this is a very, very powerful thing. So understand that fasting is part of a human race, their human biology. We were never meant to eat for 15, 20, 30, 24 hours a day. We were never meant to do that. And also there's been studies on humans where they done studies for people, a group of people who does a normal daytime shift and nighttime working, or even shift worker, when some days they work a day, some days they work a night. The shift worker had high insulin resistance and obesity. They put on weight very easily. Why? Because it was totally screwed up. One day they might be doing eating during the day, and then 2 days later on a night shift, so they're actually eating at night because the break is at night, and sleeping during the day. They're totally screwed up their circadian rhythm, their body clock screwed up, and they were eating at the wrong time. And guess what? Because when you're up at night, it's very stressful for the human body because you're supposed to be resting. When you're tired and you're stressed, what do? you go for energy, want more energy, you eat more, and the things you choose to eat are the ones that give you quick energy. Carbohydrate, sugars, coffee, sugary coffee, because we need the energy now, because we're tired, because you haven't slept. So if you do shift work, or if you do night shift, you are even more at risk of developing obesity, diabetes, insulin resistance, chronic disease, and is difficult because you're going against your body, and you're going against what your body knows. I suppose if you try to eat at the same time, eating healthy, so not having any processed food, avoiding sugars when you're doing night shift, and then when you go home, go straight to bed, have a nice good sleep, and then start eating at the same time, trying to keep time restricted feeding might work, but again is not optimal. While if you do day shifts, then restrict your time. As I say, ideally would be 16-8. Eat for 8 hours, fast for 16 hours, but that's too difficult for you. You can do 12-12, you can do 14-10, start a little bit of time. And also one thing that's very helpful as well is every now and again to try to have a longer fast, either 1 to 3 days fast. You can do even every week, 1 day when you fast for 24 hours. Give your body time, to reset yourself, or once a month, 3 times, 3 days fast, 2 days fast, But if that's too much for you, that's fine. At least start with the bare minimum, time restricted feeding to give your body half a chance. Okay. So I hope you found this helpful. So intermittent fasting, or time restricted feeding, as some people call it, as a easy way to reset your health, but also to reset your body composition, allow your body to use the body fat that you stored. And it's very easy to do, as I said. You can do breakfast to dinner, 3 meals a day, and then stop eating, or just 2 meals a day. You can choose. Get rid of all this processed food. Just think when you're having your meals and when you're feeding your children, is this as it will come in nature? If it's been tampered in any possible way, really don't have it. If you're in doubt, check the label. The label is the biggest giveaway. Forget what it says on the front: healthy, extra protein, omega-3s. I mean, there's margarine out there saying extra omega-3s. What's the point? Margarine contains trans fat, which have been linked to very, very serious health conditions. They've been banned in certain countries. So you can have a tab of trans fat, you put a little bit extra of omega-3, then it's healthy. No, it's not healthy. It makes no difference how many omega-3s you put in there when you got trans fat, and that causes damage. So understand that everything you see in the front, ignore it. It's marketing. Look at the back. Look at the ingredient list. That does not lie. By law, they had to list the ingredients, and by law, the ingredients go by the most to the list. So the first few ingredients are the one that got the most amount of, and the bottom one is the one that got least amount of. And then eliminate the ones that got long list, we've got stuff you can't pronounce, and it's bad stuff. Anyway, so eat real food. Introduce some sort of fasting, time restricted feeding, even if you want to do 12 and 12, that's perfectly fine, but start with something. Stop eating 20 hours a day, because you're not doing yourself any favor. Those two different things, very simple, very, very simple. Do those two things, and your waistline will start dropping. You'll feel tons better, and most important, your health will increase. Because why? By the time you're diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, you've been insulin resistant for years. You will not know you got the type 2 diabetes brewing for years, until those range when the blood tests start going up. But by then, the damage has been occurring over and over and over and over and over. You can stop this. It doesn't matter what the guidelines say. It doesn't matter what the government says. I've said it before, and I've actually put a post recently. The UK dietary associations, they are sponsors by some of the biggest companies that are involved with processed food, cereal companies, grain companies. They're sponsored by them. Why do you think the guidelines are not changing as quickly as they should, despite the fact the studies are there to prove that what we're doing now is killing us? Because the very people who sponsor the companies who give the guidelines, are the people who are interested in you to keep having this processed food, because that's how they make profit. But as I said, I don't care what they say. I can't give a damn what the government says about nutrition. We've got the proof. The last 20 years, diabetes has tripled. Obesity, I mean, 60% of obese people in the UK, but that's ridiculous. 90% by 2050. I mean, we will not survive past the age of 60 at this rate. We're going backward, we're not going forward in longevity, yeah? Because our health span is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. We're getting sicker and sicker. And that's down to diet, poor diet, and not enough movements as well, and stresses in life, yeah? Okay? So make those two changes. They will cost you nothing. In fact, they will save a lot of money. Yeah, buy real food. You will need less of it because it doesn't build the cravings that sugars and salts and stuff like that give you. If you eat real food, will fill you up properly and it will not produce cravings. Yeah, then do intermittent fasting, then you eat even less because you're not snacking every 2 minutes. You eat even less. I mean, you save money, save your waistline, save your health. That's it. Simple. Yeah, okay. Hope you find it useful. I usually pass it on to anyone really because this is just a generic live. And if you got any questions, as usual, please put notes at the bottom, comments at the bottom. I will reply to you. I can see a few people here. Who have we got? Jess, Shai, Zoran, James, Jane, Billion. Oh, quite a few people. So thank you for watching. And if I haven't mentioned you, I do apologize. I can only see a certain amount of people there. And have a fantastic day. Gotta go and, whoa, my God, I'm 4 minutes late to my next session. Bye.